The space station Ardent Horizon drifted silently above the gas giant Varades, its hull bathed in the dim green light of the planet below. Inside, human engineer Jalen Rowe worked alone in the maintenance bay, repairing the auxiliary systems. It was late or early, depending on how one measured time aboard a station that orbited a world with no natural day-night cycle. Jalen's routine had been predictable: repair the systems, run diagnostics, report to the AI, and sleep. The monotony of his life had been interrupted only by the occasional flare of cosmic radiation or the odd transmission from the distant planets of the Helion sector. Until tonight. The comm panel beeped. A notification blinked red. Jalen frowned and tapped the console. The message wasn't from the AI, nor from the station command. It was a direct, encrypted signal. The sender ID made his pulse skip. Lyra Valen. Lyra, an alien diplomat from the Galari cluster, with skin like shimmering obsidian and eyes that glowed like molten gold, had been stationed on Ardent Horizon for months. Their interactions had been minimal. Protocol forbade human-alien fraternization, and yet, whenever she passed by the corridors, her presence left him breathless. The message itself was short, almost casual. "Tonight I will come to your room." Jalen stared at the text. His heart stuttered, then raced. Every logical part of his brain screamed caution. She was Galari. Dangerous, disciplined, and untouchable by human desire. And yet there was a thrill, a gravitational pull he could not resist. Part 2, the anticipation. The hours crawled. Jalen found himself unable to focus on the maintenance panels, unable to concentrate on the humming machinery around him. Every creak of the station, every distant echo of a vent opening, set his nerves on edge. He had imagined this moment countless times, not the message, but the possibility of Lyra entering his room. Her gaze, her voice, the way she moved with precise elegance that no human could mimic. And yet, as the minutes ticked by, doubt crept in. What if it was a trap? What if someone had hacked her ID? His pulse raced with both excitement and fear. Finally, the station's internal clock signaled the approaching hour. Jalen sat by his small viewport, staring out at the swirling storms of Varades, imagining her silhouette stepping through the doorway. Then, a soft chime. The door to his quarters hissed open. Part 3, the arrival. Lyra stood there, framed in the pale light of the corridor. Her tall, slender figure radiated otherworldly elegance. Her golden eyes, luminous even in the dim lights, met his. "You came," Jalen stammered. She tilted her head, a subtle smirk on her lips. "I promised." Her voice was soft, melodic, yet it carried the authority of her species. Something primal stirred in Jalen. Part fear, part awe, part something he couldn't name. She stepped inside, closing the door behind her. The room suddenly felt smaller, charged with unspoken tension. "You're nervous," Lyra said, almost teasing. "Maybe," Jalen admitted, unable to look away from her eyes. Why now?" Lyra approached slowly. "Because tonight, I choose to break the rules." Every word made his chest tighten. Humans weren't meant to have such moments with the Galari. And yet here she was. Part 4, Confessions Between Stars. They sat across from each other, the hum of the station around them a distant background. Lyra's presence was overwhelming. Jalen noticed details he had never seen before: the slight shimmer of her skin under the lights, the gentle movement of her elongated fingers, the subtle pulse of energy around her, a trait all Galari possessed. "I've observed you for months," Lyra said softly. "You are different from other humans. Most of them are predictable, afraid of everything. But you do not hesitate when the machinery fails, when the station falters. You adapt. You survive." Jalen's cheeks flushed. He couldn't deny the impact her words had on him.
I
never thought you notice. Lyra leaned closer. I notice everything. That is what I do. Her hand brushed his, a mere whisper against his skin, and his heart nearly exploded. Then, why me? He asked, barely above a whisper. Because you make me feel alive, she admitted. And life is rare among the stars. Part 5. The Hidden Threat. Before the moment could deepen, the station trembled violently. Alarms blared. Red lights bathed the room. Security breach, the AI announced. Its metallic voice reverberated through the walls. Lyra's eyes narrowed. It seems the universe does not want us to be alone. Jalen grabbed a nearby wrench, though he had no idea what they were up against. Lyra moved with lightning speed, activating a panel near the window. A shimmering energy shield flickered into place, protecting the room from the unknown threat outside. What is it? Jalen asked. Pirates, she replied, calm despite the danger. Or worse, someone sent to capture the Galari diplomats. And then the door shook violently. Someone or something was trying to break in. Part 6. Fight or Flight. Lyra moved with precision, her alien abilities enhancing her movements. She neutralized the first intruder with a pulse of energy from her fingertips, sending him sprawling across the room. Jalen, untrained for combat, stayed close, helping as best he could. Every time he hesitated, Lyra covered him. Her presence was both terrifying and intoxicating. He wanted to follow every command, even if it meant risking his life. The intruders kept coming. 1, 2, 5, 10, yet Lyra's movements were fluid, almost artistic, yet deadly. Jalen realized, with awe, that he was witnessing someone not just fighting but bending reality to her will. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the corridor fell silent. The intruders were incapacitated or retreating. The station hummed, eerily calm again. Part 7. Aftermath and Intimacy. Both of them were breathing heavily, their adrenaline still coursing. Lyra leaned against the wall, chest heaving slightly. Jalen approached cautiously, unsure if this was the moment to speak, or merely to survive. You, he said, voice trembling. You saved me. No, Lyra corrected softly. We saved each other. That is the truth of tonight. Her hand found his again, this time with no hesitance. The touch lingered. For the first time, Jalen felt the weight of the stars fade away, leaving only her. I never imagined this, he said. A Galari here with me. Lyra's golden eyes softened. Some rules are meant to be broken, Jalen. Tonight, I chose you. And in that instant, the world narrowed to a single heartbeat, their heartbeat. Part 8. The Confession. Hours later, after the intruders had been neutralized and the station's security restored, they sat side by side, gazing out at Varades below. The swirling storms reflected in Lyra's golden eyes. I've never felt like this before, Jalen admitted. Not with anyone. Not with a human, and certainly not with an alien. Lyra placed her hand over his, a rare gesture of intimacy among the Galari. Nor have I, she whispered. You've awakened something inside me that I didn't know existed. Curiosity, warmth, longing. The station hummed around them, a tiny oasis in the vast, uncaring void of space. Jalen's heart pounded. So, tonight you came to my room and now... Lyra leaned closer, her forehead brushing his. Now we exist, even if only for a moment, outside the rules, outside time. Tonight we are ours. And in that moment, surrounded by the infinite cosmos, Jalen's heart truly exploded. Part 9. The Resolution. Morning, or the station's equivalent, arrived with muted light. Lyra prepared to leave, returning to her diplomatic duties. You'll return to your quarters, she said. I must return to protocol. Jalen nodded, though his chest felt heavy. Will I see you again? Lyra hesitated, then smiled faintly. The stars are vast, Jalen, but they always bring me back to you. As she departed, Jalen realized something profound. Love among the stars was fleeting, but it was worth every heartbeat, every stolen moment. He returned to his maintenance bay, but his thoughts were no longer on machinery or station systems. They were on Lyra, on the warmth of her touch, and on the promise that somewhere in the vastness of space, she would return. Part 10 ending. Weeks passed, and Ardent Horizon resumed its quiet orbit above Varades. Life continued. Engineering tasks, station protocols, interstellar communications, but for Jalen, everything had changed. A soft chime echoed through his quarters. A message. Tonight, I will come to your room. Jalen smiled, heart racing, but this time with certainty. He didn't hesitate. The stars, the dangers, the rules, they could not contain what had begun between them. He rose, ready, and waited, because some moments are worth breaking every rule, and some hearts are worth nearly exploding for.